Why? So in recent moments, a lot of schools are moving back to the SAT. So notable schools like Stanford, Harvard, Dartmouth, and a lot of prestigious schools are moving back to making their college admissions test mandatory. And to put things into perspective, 1,800 schools post-COVID were test optional for their college admissions, and pre-COVID that was only 1,000 schools that were test optional, so up 80%. But it seems like we're going back to a world where the SAT is consequential to getting into a college. And if you're not familiar with the highly controversial topic, I'll be going over why people are arguing that college admissions need to be test optional, and then the counter argument to that on why we need the SAT for our college admissions. So first, starting off why college admissions need to be test optional. Number one, so a recent study by the NBER found that test optional policies lead to a 3 to 4% increase in applications and a 1 to 2% increase in enrollment of underrepresented minorities. Second main argument comes from the HERI. So in a 2022 survey, nearly 60% of students preferred applying to a test optional college. And if the decision that college admission officers is going to directly affect students, shouldn't they have a say if they prefer it being test optional? Third argument is that the SAT creates a lot of socioeconomic disparities. So a recent study by College Board states that students from families with incomes above $200,000 have an average SAT score of 1226, while those from families living less than $20,000 have an average SAT score of 338. And later on in the video, I'll explain how exactly your family's income can affect your SAT score. And the fourth argument is that in the SAT, it's very prevalent that there are racial disparities. So in 2020, the average SAT scores were 933 for Black students, 978 for Hispanic students, 1112 for white students, and 1223 for Asian students. And lastly, and probably the strongest argument on why we should have college admissions be test optional. So a 2015 study by the NBER found that students who have access to test preparation services score on average 90 points higher than those who do not. This demonstrates that test scores can be significantly influenced by factors other than raw intelligence. And SAT prep, on the low end, it could cost you a few $100s, and on the high end, it could run you up in the thousands. And if it isn't apparent, most families don't have the disposable income to pay for SAT test prep. So it creates a clear advantage in the college admission process, but let me introduce you to an alternative that might snip this problem. So Acely is an SAT and ACT prep tool created by ex-Stanford grads to solve the problem of having an affordable and accessible SAT test prep. And my favorite things about Acely is that you get an unlimited practice questions along with an AI chatbot that works similar to ChatGPT. All you have to do is type your question that you have, and boom, within seconds, you'll get an answer to your question. So it's very convenient and it's fully up to date with the new digital SAT as well. Acely also has a goal setting feature where you could set whatever score you're trying to shoot for, and it'll let you know how much time you need to put in every day so you could reach your score within a set time frame. So if you need more help in the reading or writing section or in the math section, it'll let you know what you need to work on and in specific categories as well to meet your goals. So sign up today using my code ADAM10. It'll be in the description and also in the comment section, and utilize that free trial that they have going on right now. And to be fully transparent, yes, it does cost money after the trial, but it's only the fraction of the cost compared to other SAT test prep. And I could personally attest to the importance of investing into your future. I just graduated from UC Berkeley, but I did not start off there. I started off at community college because got a 10/10 on my SAT and got denied to almost every school that I applied to. But if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely not hesitate to invest a bit of money into the things that are going to get me into my dream school, because having gone to a great school like UC Berkeley, it's opened up so many doors and opportunities for me. So get started on your SAT prep today, and thank you Acely for being the sponsor of this video. So the question now stands, why are schools bringing back the SAT despite all the problems and challenges that it causes? Well, there's three main reasons for this. So starting off with the first, so how college admissions currently stands right now. So schools are looking at students' GPA, their college essays, and their extracurriculars. So the only quantitative data point that they have is their GPA. But with GPA, it causes a problem because different schools have varying grading standards. So a school might have great deflation or great deflation or great inflation, and they might have a different curricula as well. So it's hard to compare two different students that have different grading standards. So with the SAT, it gives a common scale on comparing students. And then secondly, holistic review. So schools are just lacking enough data points to assess if a student's gonna get in or not into a university. And it's almost turned into a lottery system on who gets in or not, because the current biggest factor if a student's gonna get accepted is their college essays. But with college essays, it could be pretty subjective, and it puts a lot of pressure to the college admissions officers. So these admissions officers have probably been demanding that they get an extra measure so they could fully assess who's gonna get in or not. And third and lastly, stakeholder demand. So these schools have to listen to parents, the alumni, the board on the decisions that they make, because who else is going to pay for their 100 million football stadium or their overly inflated salaries? So they need to listen to these stakeholders because they play an important factor to the financials of their institution. So when you have a lot of people telling you to bring back the SAT, well, you kind of just have to bring back the SAT. And the reason why they probably favor the SAT is that it's a more standardized and organized way on accepting students, and also they could use their money to help their children have the best tutors so they could do well on the SAT and get into a great school or the school that they once attended, because every rich parent's dream is to have their son or daughter attend the same school that they once went to. So even if these schools acknowledge the problems that the SAT causes, they're kind of in between picking the lesser of two evils, and it seems like a lot of schools are picking to go back to having the SAT be mandatory, because money certainly talks in society. But let me know your thoughts on the SAT. Should we completely abolish it, or is it a necessity to the college admissions process? Regardless, it seems a domino effect might be happening. A lot more schools might be making the SAT mandatory. So high school students, you might have to start preparing for the SAT again. So don't forget to check out Acely, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.